Welcome to Bridges Live. This is Dr. Paul W. Dyer. You can always reach me on Bridges Live or drpaulholisticscience.com. Again, comes from a show of my heart and my passion, and this is about information, understanding, and hopefully that you can put it into an action. And actions are always important, but if you don't understand something, I personally don't understand how you can put anything into an action if you don't fully understand. And a lot of people don't ever ask the information because they think it's just something that's going to come to them like rain from the sky. But I have guests, I bring guests on, and it's a love of mine. So again, welcome to another Bridges Live, and thank you for all my sponsors who sponsor me and help me, because we cannot do this by ourselves. Shavontana Starr is on the line with Bridges Live with Dr. Paul. Welcome, Shavontana.
Hi, Dr. Paul. Thank you for having me on today.
Absolutely. So, again, most of the people who listen to my show, I have a hard time, because I think it's ridiculous, but most people want to know who you are and what do you do, and then let's just get right into the meat of the things.
Okay, absolutely. So, my name is Starr Davis. I am an attorney, a criminal defense attorney, living here in Atlanta, Georgia. But I am also the founder and executive director of the Starr Institute. And we are a nonprofit organization, and we exist to prevent the sexual abuse and exploitation of young girls. And the way that we do that at this point in our organization is to educate youth and adults about childhood sexual abuse and exploitation, and how to keep children safe from child sex trafficking.
You know, and one of my blue staple projects in my whole life is human trafficking. It's just something that is so vile and disgusting to me. But then to me, it's exploitation of human beings. And that goes with that injustice. And there's all these branches of exploitation, from the emotional to the physical, you know. So, and you're tackling to this on such a level. How, not so much how are you tackling this? Let's get into the information and why you're tackling this.
Well, I am a survivor of childhood sexual abuse. It was at the hands of two of my older male family members, and the abuse went on from about 7 years old until 12. I never told my family about the abuse until I graduated from law school, well into adulthood. The only person who knew about the abuse when I was a child was my best friend, who was also a child. And I, confided in her one night, and I made her promise not to tell anyone, and she kept my secret. And from that time that I told her, the summer before the 6th grade, I told her, I'm going to help girls who are like me. And so what I think is, it's nothing new, right? Unfortunately, childhood sexual abuse, exploitation, human trafficking, whether it's labor trafficking, sex trafficking, pornography, there are so many levels to this thing. It's not new, but I think that, people are becoming more aware. And because we have the internet, and you can see things happening in real time now, it's like it's in people's face. And so, some people are willfully ignorant and some people are just ignorant. And so what we are out here doing is making this conversation. This is a conversation that needs to be had, because the only way that you can effectively protect someone is if they have the knowledge. You have to empower them with the knowledge. Some people don't even know that they're victims. Why? Because they think that this is what happens in their life. This is how they've grown up. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
And so we have to get in front of it. I always say to people, you have a fire drill, right? They have fire drills. Why? Because should that threat arise, you will what? be equipped with the knowledge to know what to do, how to get out of a building, who you should call if you are in that situation. It's the same thing. We have to be able to protect our children.
You know, I know parents want to try to protect. I know they think they can protect. And I've been doing protection things, and I know all my brothers and sisters who work in the industry of martial sciences and martial defense and all the things we look at for protection and information education. And still, so few parents say this crazy thing, it won't happen to me.
Right. And that, you know what, and I'm so glad that you honed in on that issue, because people do think it doesn't happen to me. But what I want people to know is that human trafficking is no respecter of race, gender, socioeconomic status, education. It does not matter. Anyone can fall victim to this. And this is why I need people to understand that you have to impart this knowledge. And to your point, there are some parents who will not have this conversation. And so we're out here to have this conversation. Because more times than not, a person who is victimized, it's at the hands of someone they know. Kidnapping, that is a very small percentage, maybe about 10% of how this works. It's typically someone that you know, love, and trust. Familial trafficking, that is a big thing. And about 65% of that are at the hands of the mothers. Then there's the fathers. And then again, to the point that I was saying, if you are a child and your parent has been victimizing you, then you more than likely think that is normal until you hear that it's not, right? And that you hear that that's not right.
You know, I know when people hear this stuff, they say, "Oh my God," and they get disgusted. And I get this burning feeling in my body when I do things and talk about things and to educate things. I don't want you to be disgusted. I want you to do something. I don't want you to be depressed. I want you to do something. I don't want you to be like, who do I know? I want you to understand the information, and then take action. So how can we get these people into more action? Because there's so much trafficking and sexual abuse going on, and we've been dealing with this since man.
Absolutely. So I think that it's first and foremost, you have to get educated. You have to learn what are the signs, right? What are the warning signs that a person is being trafficked? What makes a person vulnerable to being more susceptible, right? To becoming a trafficking victim. Then who do you call? What are those resources that you reach out? Who are the people that you reach out to? And then what is most important is if you see something, say something, right? Call the authorities. You can call the police. You can call the National Human Trafficking Hotline. We can't have this mentality that that's none of my business, right? So many times people just turn a blind eye. You see things that are happening, and then, people just, when you don't say anything, it's almost like you're becoming complicit with it. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
So that is the step. And then if there are organizations in your, local organizations, get involved. It's not always money. Of course, we're nonprofit organizations. We need funds to operate. We would like your money, but it's your time. It's your talent, right? It's not just your treasures. You could go and if you are a professional, say I'm an attorney, right? So sometimes I go do know your rights sessions because you can give back in a moderate way, right? But first and foremost, we have to have the conversation. You have to be open to having the conversation. And I think that a lot of people just don't want to have the conversation. For me, what the Starr Institute is trying to do is to let this be a household conversation, to take the stigma away from it, to let it not have a filthy or dirty connotation. We are working to keep our children safe. And that starts with prevention and awareness. That's what this is all about.
Do you this is not a blame game, and I want to thank Shavontana Starr for coming on Bridges Live with Dr. Paul. And I want to raise a question. I have raised this question with a couple of people before. It is not. Do you think that there's some fault in the religious entities that did not address injustices as happening in the community, in the neighborhood?
I don't know that. I feel like there is blame. I don't think that we can just point to one entity.
No.
I will say this. When people have power, when people have money, they are sometimes given passes. And I think that, we need to stop doing that. We need to stop, letting some people slide in one regard. I think that at the end of the day, right is right.
Right.
I don't think that this should be a situation of, we're only helping this certain people or this demographic of people. I think that when people are wrong, we should not cover those things up. Whatever position you hold, whatever, whether that's a political affiliation, a religious affiliation, we need to call everyone to the carpet, right? But that's the issue, which is why, this has been around since the dawn of time. I just think that, case in point, Epstein, he was doing what he was doing for a really long time. And a lot of people knew about it. And they didn't say anything. And they continued to allow him to do whatever it is that he wanted to do with these young girls. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
And then only when it comes down to a head, then it's like it has to blow up massively for us to be like, okay, let's put this under wraps. But he victimized so many young girls. And people knew about it.
Well, we have an Epstein issue. We have the Olympic medical doctor.
Mm-hmm.
The girls spoke, told parents, and parents said no. They couldn't believe it.
Well, that happens, unfortunately. And I'm thankful as a survivor that my parents, I told my mom, grandmother, and godmother, and I'm so thankful that they believed me. But that's not everyone's story. And then you have to also understand some people's motivations behind it. Some people, whatever the case may be, because like I said, there is familial trafficking. So maybe sometimes the parent feels like whatever it is that it's not that bad. It's terrible to say that, but maybe they feel like that trauma that they're experiencing, or sometimes it happened to me and I'm okay and you'll be okay, right? But at the end of the day, what happens is we need to heal. We need to heal and we need to have this conversation. People, there's 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys will be sexually victimized by 18. And do you know that only 1 in 10 survivors will come forward? Because look at what happens when survivors come forward. That blame game starts happening. And majority of the time, it's shifted to the victim.
So we know we have to have victim advocacy. We know we have to stomp out and search in these dark places. And yet, when I talk about emotional sciences, we're traumatizing also the consciousness and the brain. We can heal from this after the spoken word is healing. There's a mental healing and there's a physical healing. What are some of those things that people can understand what they could do to start that process of healing?
Well, I think that, because I always say that my road to healing, it was a long one. Because when you are victimized, it affects every area of your life. And to your point, I agree wholeheartedly. There is a whole physical healing that takes place, and then that emotional, that mental, and that is whatever. First of all, you have to get to a place. I had to forgive myself. It took me a really long time to be able to forgive myself, to know that it wasn't my fault, that it wasn't anything that I deserved, that I didn't do anything to deserve what they done to me. And then as a result of what they did to me, then I had to, forgive myself for the actions that I made as a result of what they done to me. And then, counseling. And I wish, and, honestly, this is why you can't hold these things in, because I don't know if I would have told an adult back then, maybe I wouldn't have had to experience it for long as I did, right? And then you also have to understand that everybody's healing is different. So for me, I did not start, as people would say, acting out. I got laser focused in school. I got laser focused in church. And I was like, I'm leaving Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm never coming back. And I have not ever lived at home since the time I graduated from high school. But everyone is different, and you have to understand and be patient and be understanding, and not judge a person, because trust and believe you're already doing a good job of beating yourself up.
I know grieving is a long, and I had said this, and I teach a grieving class, and I believe in my heart that so many people, I would say 9 out of 99.9 out of 100 is grieving over something. They are in pain over something that they've buried. And they don't know they're grieving because they're either productive in some way, or they've buried it so far down that they don't know how it's manifested in their life. And you said it right about healing. Like, even though you needed to heal, you became laser focused. So if someone was to see you when you were in school, they were like, there's nothing wrong with Shavonte. And there was lots of things wrong. It doesn't matter what you propelled you to do. You were trying to heal. You were grieving.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so I think that it's a process. Just like you said, it's a process. It takes time, and you need people. You need to have a good support system. And, sometimes it can't be your family and your friends, but it's important to have that support system. And it's important to give yourself grace. You have to give yourself grace and take that time, and don't allow anyone else to tell you when your time should be up and how you should grieve. And because what'll end up happening is that it will just have this ripple effect in every area of your life. So I never wanted to get married. I never wanted to have children. I never wanted to have the responsibility that I would have to protect someone and that I would fail them, because that's what I felt like, right? Because my life changed at 7. That's when the molestation began, and that's also when my mom became addicted to drugs. Now, by the grace of God, she's been clean. She's been clean for 13 years now. But that was a role for us, It was a role for her, and it was a role for me. So not only do you have, the actual direct, trauma, but then you have all this other collateral, damage of people and experiences that you have to take on as well. But you definitely have to be able to have an outlet. You have to have someone to be able to talk.
Did you, so on another note, Shavontana Starr, and thank you for again coming on Bridges Live with Dr. Paul, did you get married?
I did. And listen, June we celebrated 10 years, and we have 2 amazing, beautiful, brilliant boy and girl, Devin and Parker. They're 5 and 3. And, I'm so thankful that my husband has been such the rock and support that he is. And randomly, I will find myself telling him, thank you for loving me through my pain, because I didn't feel like I deserved his love. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
But my children, they will forever be my greatest accomplishment. And I'm so thankful for them. And so, yes, I did. But this was a really long, growth.
Well, I tell you, Shavonte, one of the things I like to teach my kids and all people, it's about expression. Learn to fully express yourself. We're not talking about the outcome and what will come from it and how you would feel, who would feel, but express yourself. And when it comes to finding love, I think only when our hearts are open, then we can receive it. But here's the kudos to your husband, like you said. His heart was able to open up, not just to receive your love, but to give his love for you to soak it up. And that takes a special kind of person to say, I'm not here to love you what you went through. I'm here to love you because this is what my love is for you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
How can we help you? How can we reach out and touch you, follow you? We know we need money. Nonprofits don't run on their own. Nonprofits mean we're independently broke and we're always asking, but we need the help because we cannot do this alone. And I don't know why people think that sometimes I'm not, I don't know. Anyway, well, how can we send you money and what's the websites and what's the information?
So our website is thestarinstitute.org, and that's star with 2 R's, thestarinstitute.org. You can like us and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at The Star Institute, again with 2 R's. And of course, like I said, you can donate to our website, but then also like our post, share our post, because that's getting information out. We do a TSI tip of the week. It's just a quick little video that we do every week to try to update people on best practices or any new things that are going on in the anti-human trafficking space. And so share those videos, share our posts. And if you are local here in Atlanta and you would like for us to come out and teach our sex trafficking awareness 101 class, then, contact me on our website. But that is for youth ages 12 to 17, and it's just an awareness and prevention course. And so those are the ways that you can get in contact with us. Those are the ways that you can help us out.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and God bless. And we don't say God bless, but we need to say, let's strengthen our whole souls and our hands and our feet so we can continue to walk in the path of light. And only then we can share and be strengthened and strengthen the weak. So thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for listening to Bridges Live. This is Dr. Paul Dyer, and you're listening to Shavontana Starr, and we were talking about getting involved. This is not just about sexual trafficking or sexual abuse. This is about abuse and how to heal. And this is particularly about we need to get out the spoken word about the dark in our lives. Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.